For decades, corporate leadership operated on a single guiding principle: secrecy is an asset. To build something valuable, a company hired top talent, locked their R&D teams away in a concrete room, and spent years developing a project in total isolation before surprising the market. This is closed innovation. In a digital economy where consumer demands shift in a matter of days, spending years in stealth mode often ensures a product is obsolete before it even launches. Hemant Chesbro, an organizational theorist, noted a simple truth that challenges this secrecy: not all the smart people work for us. That realization is the foundation of the open business model, which replaces rigid corporate borders with a permeable boundary. The mechanics are straightforward. A company pulls external ideas inward, partnering with outsiders to solve internal bottlenecks, while pushing its unused internal ideas outward, allowing external partners to commercialize the concepts the internal team cannot pursue. When technology moves this fast, corporate isolation stops acting as a protective shield. It becomes a liability that drains resources and guarantees irrelevance. To see the specific cost of that isolation, look at Siam EcoPack. They are a mid-sized packaging manufacturer that spotted a massive market gap: the demand for 100% biodegradable hot food containers. They approached the problem using a classic closed strategy. Management swore their engineers to secrecy and spent 6 months and millions of baht tweaking bioplastic formulas behind closed doors. They finally produced a prototype, but when they poured boiling liquid into it, the container lost its shape and melted. 6 months of capital and labor ended in a scrapped project. This is the result of operating in a vacuum. The company spent heavily to create a theoretically perfect product that failed upon its first contact with the real world. Management decided to dismantle the physical and cultural walls around their R&D department. They restructured the project into a tri-party co-creation model, bringing 3 distinct groups directly to the factory floor. First, they integrated their bioplastic supplier. Instead of using the purchasing department to squeeze the supplier for a lower price per kilo, they treated the supplier's chemical engineers as strategic experts, involving them in material selection from day one. Second, they brought in the target customer. They integrated franchise chefs as active co-designers, letting them modify blueprints and specifications while the product was still entirely conceptual. With everyone in the same room, they ran a live experiment. The chefs bypassed theoretical lab metrics and tested the containers exactly how they would in a commercial kitchen, pouring boiling soup directly into the prototypes. When the plastic warped, there were no weeks-long email chains. The supplier's chemical engineer, standing right next to the chef, diagnosed the material failure and formulated a heat-stabilizing additive on the spot. Simultaneously, the chef pointed out that the lid was too stiff to close quickly during a dinner rush. Hearing this firsthand, the factory's tooling engineers redesigned the mold parameters that same afternoon. While the closed lab spent 6 months failing to produce a viable container, this collaborative approach solved the chemical and mechanical problems in exactly 4 weeks. This setup produced a direct return for everyone. The restaurant secured a container suited to their kitchen. The supplier secured a long-term contract for their new formula, and the factory slashed its R&D overhead while securing guaranteed sales. In 4 weeks, Siam EcoPack achieved what their internal lab couldn't do in half a year. But if collaborative design is this effective, it raises an obvious question: why do so many companies still choose to struggle in isolation? The most common barrier is NIH syndrome, not invented here. This is a corporate ego, where an internal team actively rejects a viable solution simply because an external partner thought of it first. Then there are structural barriers. Legal departments often draft aggressive non-disclosure agreements that scare away potential partners, and procurement departments treat suppliers strictly as line items to be reduced, ensuring those experts keep their best ideas to themselves. Finally, there is the issue of benefit sharing. If a supplier solves a manufacturing bottleneck and the company fails to offer a bonus, credit, or a guaranteed contract, they break the trust of that network. Sharing knowledge and profits expands the total value available to everyone. By combining resources, the collaborative network bakes a larger pie, ensuring every participant walks away with more than they could have secured alone. Of course, once you've successfully co-created a product, you face a new problem. competitors will try to copy it and undercut your price. In our next episode, we'll examine how to stop them using a strategy called servitization.